Welcome to Wooden Tracks and Electric Trains, Episode 2, Part 1, Circus, Blokus.
The truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as the promise of a coming day.
Hi, my name is Gary. This is the second episode of Wooden Track and Electric Trains. We are back in spite of the popular demands. This episode, titled Circus, presents a new version of my tabletop layout. In the first episode, I showed a version of the layout and 4 circuits. I ended the episode saying that I had an idea for changes. In this episode, I will show the changes made and new routes and circuits that exist within the layout, achieved by repointing mechanical switches. If you did not watch the first episode, or watched it and did not pay attention to the maps I showed, then you may want to watch or re-watch the first episode and come back to this video afterwards. I mention this because there may be a quiz at the end. Okay, I'm kidding about the quiz. The episode is presented in 2 parts, and there are now 2 new videos on YouTube. But Part 1 and Part 2 of the episodes are intended to make you visualize and make you think.
Circus Part 1 is dedicated to all those who play the game of Blokus. As a spoiler alert, Part 2 of the episode resolves a track Blokus problem we encounter in Part 1. Let's get into Part 1 now. Blokus is a board game requiring spatial recognition skills, sound strategy, and effective tactics. The same sort of skills and approach, along with a lot of patience, were needed to build this wooden track layout. You will need your spatial recognition skills to understand my layout and this presentation.
On the left is the aerial view photo I showed you in the first episode, and on the right, the new aerial view photo. Blokus players probably already noticed that I made a few changes from the layout I showed you the last time. I did mention in the first episode that I was excited about making these changes and making a second video. I'm going to show you the changes and how I can throw switches to create different circuits. There are several combinations of circuits possible. This one layout contains multiple configurations. In the previous episode, I described the concept of a circuit. I told you that a circuit is a route that returns an engine to the same place and in the same direction where the engine started the route. We talked about the 4 circuits that exist in the layout in detail in the first presentation. I ran 4 engines looping, each in their own circuit. The new layout preserves the 4 circuits in the almost identical routes, and that is what you are watching here. But what is new, and as you will soon see, there are other circuit combinations available in the same layout. I will explain how I create other circuits without changing track in the layout. To explain this, we need to use some terminology. Please be patient as we look at the next few slides. This information will be relevant.
Most standard wood track sections are shown in this chart, but the chart is not a complete list of track types available. The small photo in the top right corner is an example of a section not in the chart. Some track section types are hard to find in the marketplace. When making a layout, understanding the types and their dimensions of track is essential. You need to know that the availability of these sections is critical to what can and cannot be done with a layout. This is especially important when making a layout on a smaller surface. I'm going to talk about a few of these track types in more detail. I'm going to describe characteristics of some of the track sections. We need to appreciate how these sections function to understand my track layout. This slide shows a group of track called level crossing. There are 3 different level crossing track sections shown in the photo: a 90-degree cross, a 45-degree cross, and a curved cross. Although these differ in shape, each of these sections allow track to intersect without disrupting the path of the engine or train. So an important thing to realize about all cross track is that an engine entering a crossing section will exit the intersection in the same direction as entered. Red lines on the cross photo identify a straight path through each cross. A red arrow points to the curved cross upper entrance, with the exit path indicated by the other red arrow in the photo. All cross track works in either direction, so arrows point both ways in the picture.
There are 2 different types of merge track shown in the 2 pictures. These merge sections behave more or less the same way, but one has a long curve, the other a short curve. A merge is a track section having 2 or more entrances and only one exit. The 2 or more branches before the fork are typically considered the entrances. The merge track is typically considered the exit. If a merge track is entered from the exit, then the engine and train will exit typically along the straight path. However, the exit path is not totally deterministic when merge track is entered from the merge exit. In many ways, mechanical switches are the opposite of merge track. We might even call them split or fork sections. Mechanical switch pointing provides directional control when entered from the merged entrance. Exit will occur on one of the branches after a fork. The preset pointing determines if a straight branch is taken or if the curved branch is taken. A mechanical switch can sometimes be entered from a branch exit. Entry from a branch exit only works if the preset points to the incoming branch. If a mechanical switch is entered from the merge direction that is not correctly set, a potentially dangerous switch running event occurs. Switch running can result in derailment, otherwise an exit from the merge entrance is possible. A spur refers to a secondary section of track leaving a mechanical switch branch when the other branch is a primary route. Locating or creating spur is essential to new routes and to new circuits. Every unused or underused spur is an opportunity for a new route.
The terminology reviewed, let's revisit the aerial photos. On the left is the previous layout, on the right the new layout. On the new photo, there are 6 red circles around areas with significant changes. In all 6 circles, we see spur added or changed to make connections into or out of merges or switches. Circle 1 shows a curved cross on a level 1 raised structure added in the path of spur connections from track 2 to track 4, and from track 3 to track 1. In circle 2, near switch 4.1, on level 1, we see a merge added before the switch. Circle 3 identifies a merge added a short distance after switch 4.1 between tracks 4 and 1. In circle 4, a yellow signal supporting tier track 3 was replaced by mechanical switch 3.3. Circle 5 has a new switch on a platform where there used to be an arched bridge. Circle 6 has a new descent track arriving from switch 2.2. The spur from switch 2.2 is changed under switch 2.3 and now merges onto track 1 instead of track 4. In circle 6, switch 2.3 was replaced with a different model so that the switch control handle would not interfere with engines on the spur from switch 2.2 when the engine was passing underneath. Other changes include relocation of ascending track near the start of track 4, and the stockyard underneath the platform supporting the curved cross is changed.
On the left, we have the map for the previous layout. On the right, the new. These maps both show 4-circuit switch plans. The switch plans are different because there are more switches in the new layout. Looking at the southern or right sides of both maps, we can find differences. First, there are 3 new switches. Switch 3.3 here supports a new spur in pink that connects to a new merge. Switch 1.3 supports a spur to track 4 in red. Let's see here. Switch 2.2 supports a change spur to track 1. On track 3, coming from switch 1.2, there's a new merge. On track 4, arriving from switch 1.3, there's a new merge. On track 4, arriving from the green section here, there's a new merge into track 4 near the start location. Despite these changes, there's only a minor difference in the 4 circuits, comparing the old to the new. The 4 circuits exist in both layouts and maps, but in the new layout, additional routes can be created by using the additional switches. You are watching a video using the 3-circuit configuration. There are 3 engines in this video. One engine is much faster than the others. Circuit 3 and Circuit 4 are the same routes as in the 4-circuit configuration. The slower engines are on those routes. The fast engine starts in the same place as used by Circuit 1, but quickly switches onto track 2 in the southeast. The very fast engine is on the new route called Circuit 7. On return to the southwest, the engine switches back to track 1 and returns to the start. Switch repointing created the new Circuit 7. Circuit 7 is a combined longer route using tracks 1 and track 2. So 2 tracks were connected, and the number of circuits decreased to 3. This map shows how repointing 2 mechanical switches created Circuit 7. First, we repointed switch 1.1 on level 1, located over here. The repoint routes engines to the track to the east, where the track turns north under a tier structure. This spur merges into track 2 en route to the northern curved cross. Second, we repointed switch 2.2 located, over here. So that switch points to the curve to the south. The curve is a spur which in the previous layout connected to track 4, but in the new layout connects to track 1. With the mechanical switches in these points, Circuit 7 returns to the start after traversing sections of track 1 and track 2. Since Circuit 7 combines tracks from Circuit 1 and Circuit 2, these are no longer available. As a result, this configuration provides Circuit 7, 3, and 4. In the next video, I restore these 2 switches to the previous points, but changed other switches instead. You are watching a video made after switch changes for a 2-circuit configuration. There are 2 engines in this video. A white engine started on track 3, and a red engine started on track 4. The white engine heads for the hanging switch landmark on track 3 in the northeast. The red engine heads for the steep overpass landmark in track 4. As the engines begin to turn to the southwest, it looks like the engines are in circuits 3 and 4. But watch carefully, the engines will encounter new switch positions. The white engine on track 3 reaches switch 3.3 and turns onto a spur going through the curved cross and enters the merge to track 1. The red engine on the lower tier continues straight to leave track 4 at switch 4.3. The red engine takes a short spur to track 2 under track 3, which is above. The 2 engines reached the critical switches at the same time. Did you see it? As the engines head north, the white engine is on track 1 to the green bridge, Meanwhile, the red engine on track 2 will cross under the white engine eventually as it turns to descend. The red engine heads towards the signal tower. The white engine goes through switch 1.3 as the red engine goes through switch 2.2. Switch 2.2 is set to straight, so the red engine takes the spur to the southern curved cross. The white engine reaches switch 1.2. Switch 1.2 is set to curve, directing the engine to track 3. The white engine arrives at the track 3 start location, completing circuit 5. The red engine merges onto track 4 at the start location, completing circuit 6. This is a lot to take in, so I'll review with a map and a photo in the next slide.
The map shows switch positions for the two-circuit configuration. In the close-up photo, there are switches with numeric labels in blue. I will refer to these labels as I describe the switch settings that created the new circuits. The switch pointing for circuit 5 combines tracks 3 and 1. Switch 3.3 in the photo is set to curve. Switch 1.2 is also set to curve. You can only see the entrance. Switch pointing for circuit 6 combines track 4 and 2. Switch 4.4 here is set to straight. It can be seen underneath track 3.3, or switch 3.3. On the map, the track following switch 3.3 is shown in pink. The pink track connects through curve cross here and 2 merge tracks to reach track 1 heading north. With many attempts to find a circuit combining all tracks, all that happened was Blokus. The Blokus challenge is to find a route that will traverse as much of the layout as possible and still return to the starting location in the same direction. To do this, we need to identify track locations and switch combinations for a new circuit. We need time to reflect on this. I hope you enjoyed Episode 2, Part 1. We will continue this adventure in Episode 2, Part 2, Circus, the Southern Cross. I hope you will watch the second part of the episode, where you can expect a solution to the single circuit problem.